I really appreciate that. Is this on? You hear me? I appreciate the welcome and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's exciting for me to be here and because my own college journey is what kind of brought me into this space in the first place. I went to college in Florida, Florida A&M University, which is one of the largest historically black colleges in the country. And it happens to be situated in Tallahassee, Florida, which is the capital city of Florida. I was there during this intriguing kind of moment. I was in business school and running track and just kind of doing my thing, you know. And we were there during this like intriguing moment through a census where we started having this conversation about the extent to which the census, and I hope you know we're having a census this year, in which the census is how we stand forward and be counted, and all of the ways in which that's so important for everything that we believe in. We had a conversation in which the former governor of Florida was seeking to dismantle affirmative action in the state of Florida, and we had that conversation. We had a series of pipe bombings on campus in which the FBI, can you imagine, the FBI was occupying our college campus. And we had to wear our student ID badges around our neck, or else you'd be questioned by the FBI. They eventually caught somebody, again, a historically black college. They eventually caught some racist guy who was setting off these pipe bombs on our campus. So in very many ways, college for me was this like immersion experience that took me from like, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I always tell people my aspiration is to be too old for people to even ask that question anyways. And because I still don't know. But like focus on like I'm gonna go like this corporate ladder, corporate career. I'm gonna run track, this individual sport, and kind of do my thing. To saying, wait a minute, we really have to do something about the way this world is. All of that ended up culminating in election 2000. The first time I got a chance to vote for a president was in election 2000. And I don't know if you guys are all old enough to remember election 2000 when Bush and Gore were running against each other, and Bush's brother, Jeb Bush, was the governor of Florida, and we ended up having this whole conversation about hanging chads in Florida and all of those things. We were in the middle of that conversation, literally, at the largest black college in the country in the capital city of Florida. And so the weird thing is, I wasn't this like super hyper like political student. I wasn't the student government president. I wasn't on student government at all. And on that election day, which is this highly consequential election day, right? It was the most important election of our lifetime. We've had a few since then. We'll probably have a few more. But I remember thinking I'll probably go vote after class if I have time. Which is insane, right? I'll probably go vote after class if I have time. I was living with my older sister, her husband, and their 2-year-old daughter at the time, and my brother-in-law very kindly said to me, everyone living here is gonna vote today. And there were no question marks on that sentence. So I got in the car. We went to go vote. We stood in line for like 30, 45 minutes. The line is outside, like through the parking lot, and it's on this like really, really cold day. I love saying that in Minnesota. This terribly cold day in Florida. It makes the story better, doesn't it? All that to say, we stood in line for 30, 40 minutes, something like that. Record turnout. We get to the table, and my brother-in-law was turned away from the polls. I voted, my sister voted, and he was turned away from the polls. And all of a sudden, this business school student on my way to some corporate career was standing at this polling place in a presidential election, literally arguing the right to vote. And we were like mad, and we were embarrassed, and the people behind us were impatient, and the polling judge, like, they don't have same-day registration like we do in Minnesota, so there's no excuses for not voting in Minnesota. That's why Hamline students vote in such great numbers. But so like the person I'm across the table, I'm sure had this conversation 100 times today and was exasperated with it and couldn't put his name on the list if she wanted to anyways because other forces were at play. In retrospect, I realized the biggest thing for me was like this confusion and discontent, because we have bought and sold this notion that the secret sauce in America, the thing that makes America amazing, I don't use the G word, is that if you want to say, you get a say. And I think that's really, really important. If you want to say, you get a say. And we buy into this myth that there are some people who are like cynical and who are apathetic voters who don't show up. But if you want to say, you get a say. And this experience of seeing my brother-in-law stand in line for 30 minutes, right? Make me get in the car. It's this important to him. Stand in line for 30 minutes, literally with his voter registration card in one hand and his 2-year-old daughter in the other arm. And then get turned away. I couldn't figure out how to reconcile that against the America that we want to be and that we constantly tell ourselves that we are.